You are right. This is the Goal Setting Masterclass. Welcome. All right.
And then how do you say your name? The other lady.
That's Miss Antonia Dupree.
Antonia. Okay, that's really pretty.
Thank you. You can call me Tony.
Tony. Okay.
Yeah.
Stop sharing. Hi, Foxy John. So happy to have you with us. So welcome to the Goal Setting class, the Goal Setting Masterclass. So I'm going to share my screen just for visualization for people who need it. Coach Tony, watch that because I can't see it. Right. So once again, welcome to the Goal Setting Masterclass. This is the Let's Go edition. Sis, I'm not only going to show you how to set goals today, but actually accomplish them. If someone can please pause for me, mute for me, that would be great. All right. So a little bit about me. My first goal, which was unintentional. Can you guys still see me?
Yes.
Okay. Good. All right. So my first goal unintentionally, sis, was when I released my book, Unravel and Break Free from Trauma. That was literally my first time unintentionally setting a goal and walking into it. My next goal success story is the Guide and Goals story. The Guide and Goals challenge that I'll talk more about at the end. That is literally another thing that the book actually pushed me into. And so it's my Guide and Goals challenge. My next big goal setting thing was my t-shirt business called It's Just Different Tees and More. It's a t-shirt brand where I help small businesses create their shirts, do their brands. I even do, can you make this shirts? That's what I call them because most people just message me and say, can you do this, sis? And then my next major goal is my Sis Get Up group. Many of you found this Guide and Goals challenge. The Goals workshop from that group. And that is where I am building my ministry. It's literally where God has called me to uplift, motivate, and encourage. And from that group has came just something so much bigger. And it's just me becoming this whole boss and wanting to help make bosses. And so these are a few of my goal success stories that I wanted to share with you guys. Let's get into the class. So goals, what is goals? The object of a person's ambition or effort, an aim or a desired result. Now, the reason why I love goal setting so much is because it is so much deeper. For me, it is life or death. Literally, I've seen people who have committed suicide, who have stayed stuck and stagnant, who have missed their cause and purpose, who are just still here existing and not doing anything with their life simply because they have not set goals. Why? Because goals, the definition, is a person's ambition or effort to aim to a desired result. If you do not have a goal, if you do not have the ambition to reach these goals or to aim at something, you will be walking aimlessly in life. And that is what many people are doing. And so that's why goal setting is so much more than just setting a few goals and saying, I'm going to accomplish a few things. It is literally life and death. If you do not have an aim, if you do not have a desired result that you are trying to get, if you do not have an ambition for life, sis, you will find yourself not knowing what to do. And so that is my true deep definition of goal settings, is literally life and death, okay? And so the next thing I want to talk to you about is how do you even start with a goal? And the first thing that needs to happen while you're doing goals, while you're thinking of goals, while you are trying to create your goals, is the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what do you want? What do you want, sis? And welcome to those of you that are coming in. What do you want? What do you want in life? What do you want to accomplish? What is that dream? What is that thing that God has placed inside of you? What do you want? And oftentimes when I'm doing my 21-day Guide and Goals challenge, I have the ladies start off the first day with something I call a brain dump. And that's simply taking everything out of your mind and literally just dumping it on a piece of paper. I usually tell them, listen, You grab that pen and that paper and you begin to flow without thinking. And I used to think it was this whole contradiction thing, but it's actually not. I actually tried this whole left hand thing and seeing if I can write with my left hand. And it's a whole difference with writing with your normal hand. So you actually can flow without thinking because we write without thinking. And so the whole brain dump exercise is to get out the things that you don't even know you want. Many of us we got so many things inside of us. One of the things, and I'm gonna just throw this out there because it just came up and it was something I wrote about earlier and it must just need to come out. But I was doing a brain dump and I was writing some things out that I wanted to write. And one of the things that came out, sis, was that I wanted to get I think it's called a Brazilian. So I wanted to get a Brazilian. I put that on my paper and I was like, whoa, I never thought about that. That's scary, right? But it was something that I wanted to do. And so when you brain dump, that's something small, but when you brain dump, you're able to get everything out that was inside of your mind that you didn't even know was there. Let's move on. So the next step is to decide, sis. It's to decide. Welcome you guys that are coming in. It is to decide, sis. And so I looked up the definition for decide, and it is to come to a resolution in the mind as a result of consideration. And so the thing that many people don't tell you is that you actually, when you're goal setting, when you're manifesting, when you are dreaming big, let's say you get those goals on that paper. Let's say, take my little funny example. I think it's called a Brazilian. I don't know, but the Brazilian wax, right? If that's my goal, I first have to decide that I actually want this, that I actually want my girl down there to actually be all the way bare. Like I have to actually mentally decide that. And so whatever your goals are, you first must believe that you can actually get this done. So you take the goals from your brain dump, from deciding what you actually want, and you just decide, make the decision that you actually want this, and you're actually going to get it done. And so quickly, I wanted to share, and I know that this is not like a business class, but when I'm talking about goals, when I'm talking about dreams, because of my entrepreneur background, I'm literally an entrepreneur by nature, literally born and raised, grew up in entrepreneurship. It's literally something that I always try to tell people to get into, even if it's just like a side hustle, a side business. Why? Because you actually can't obtain your true desires and dreams and goals working for somebody else. And I kind of challenged myself on that because I said, well, if I continue to tell everybody that they're supposed to have their own businesses, then we will miss out on our nurses, our lawyers, our cops, all those different things that we need. So I get that, right? There's people who need to be those people, but also I dream big and I love to stretch people into dreaming big. That even if you are a nurse, okay, well, maybe you want to start your own facility, right? Maybe you want to start your own, they have the travel nurse thing. Maybe you want to start something bigger, or maybe you just want to do something on the side. And so that is where I'm going to go. I don't know why I got higher education there, but that is where I want to go with the business part of this statistic that I found. And so on entrepreneurship.com, they say in 2 years, 30% of businesses fail. And in 5 years, 50% of businesses fail. Do anybody know why that may be? Let me see if I can stop share, see who's on here anyways. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Foxy. Hey, Charity. Anybody know why that may be? That these businesses are failing?
I'll take a guess.
Yes.
Because they probably give up or they don't see the revenue that they want coming in. So they feel like, okay, well, it's not for me because I don't see this happening as quick as I want it to happen. So I'm just going to give up. That's what I personally think.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Anybody else? No? Okay. So what you said, Tony, is 100% true. Most people are just giving up. They don't see themselves being able to continue to be successful in their business. And then also, and there's something even more. And so this is the secret that I like to tell people is that there's a news flash. Manifestation, starting the business, starting the goals, praying, all of that stuff. There's so much more work that goes into it. And so even with these businesses, what they said is the reason why people fail is because they didn't actually think about the long term. They didn't actually see themselves at the end. And if they saw themselves at the end, they didn't visualize every step in between. And so that is the big part that people don't really talk about, is that in manifestation, in doing the business and starting the goals, there is a deep level of visualization and meditation that comes into that. What am I talking about? You actually have to see yourself accomplishing what you're doing. The reason why they said some of these businesses were failing is because they did not plan for the bumps in the roads that they would get. Maybe it was a significant other passing. Maybe it was a crisis in the family or in the industry, right? And so as you're setting goals, you have to visualize that stuff. You have to think about that stuff. And so it's not just, I got to go, I'm going to the millionaire status, right? There's so many different bumps and tweaks in between. And so there's so much more than just thinking it, than just speaking it, than just writing it. That stuff is not enough. You have to do a little bit more. And we'll get into it. All right, so my next step would be to write it out. But before I get into that, sis, I want to also say, for me personally, what I think is another reason why businesses kind of pivot a little bit or stop or whatever it may have you, is that sometimes, if you're a believer, you understand this, that God will actually come for your stuff. Like, let me know in the comments if that's ever happened for you. Like, have you ever thought you were going to do something and then, God kind of pivoted you, or he stopped you, or he redirected you? And so me personally, I think that some people don't factor in the fact that even when you're setting the goals, right, you're saying that you want to be the next Tyler Perry or something like that, that you still have to be okay with the pivot in the goal. When I became an author, literally, I thought that I was going to be like taken off after that. I thought that I was going to be a top speaker. I thought that I was going to sell billions of copies. I thought that this was it, sis. And I did good. My first launch, I sold about 500 copies, and then it just stopped. It literally halted in the middle. There were no more sales. And granted, I could have did a little better, but here's the thing, I didn't have any marketing around it. And then here's the even bigger thing, is that God wanted me to pivot from that. And I actually had to be okay with that. That the book was my stepping stone. It was my open door. It was my one step, if you will, into the next thing. And so God pivoted me right on from that book. And he's told me multiple times that that's going to come back around. I believe it's going to still be that movie, still be that all over the place, but there's been a process to it. And when you pivot with God and you let him lead you into those next steps, it's so worth it, sis. I did not know that I wanted to be a coach. I did not know that I was going to start the t-shirt brand. I did not know that I was going to help other people become entrepreneurs and get the success that they needed. And this all started from me just having that one goal. And so I bring this up because sometimes businesses don't know how to pivot, right? When the pandemic hit, I was seeing a lot of people shutting down like their restaurants and a whole bunch of other things. And I had the pleasure of speaking with my family. They actually own a restaurant. And so I helped them get on the fact that, hey, your inside might be shut down, but that don't mean close the whole thing down. Like, there was still an opportunity to figure out something else. And they actually partnered with, I believe it's Grubhubbers or one of them. And they let their drivers go, save some money. And they began to literally cause a whole different stream of business for them, working with this Grubhub and having people food delivered versus them coming into the restaurant and eating. And so be okay with the pivot. Be okay with if a business fails, if a goal fails, if something that you're hoping for in this process of setting goals, writing them down, if it end up failing, sis, or if God ends up pivoting you, be okay to go with that. Be okay with the redirection, because understand that God would never take anything away without giving you something better. And so that is my real reason on it. And so as we're talking about goals, I want to let you guys know on how I see it to be done. And so this is my whole mess of what I think about for goal setting. Goal setting takes a part of the beginning, which we talked about, of how you brain dump, you get it all out, you figure out what you even want. You take that one goal, you begin to put it on a paper, make that your target one, circle it in your brain dump, whatever it is, and you set your mind on that. You begin to visualize the steps that are going into that. And so I'm going to break this down kind of quickly. And so this is the reverse engineer process. And so this is how sometimes your goals will go. I'm going to tell you 9 times out of 10, your goals will never start at number 1. It won't start with the first part of the goals. And let me tell you what that means. So I wanted to use me for an example. So for me, I want to be a 6-figure coach, or not even per se a 6-figure coach. I just want to be a successful coach, right? I do have a amount of money I had to visualize and see myself having and getting, but we'll just stick with successful coach, okay? And so although becoming a successful coach would be at the top of this, there are steps that I have to take before getting there. Okay. And so I should have wrote it on here, but so number 1 right here would actually be for me to create automations. Right. And so I'm going to go quickly through this because you might not be a coach, but I promise it's going to help you out. And so number 1 would be to create automations for me. It would be to set up some systems where it can run smoothly, right? Because I want to be a successful coach. That's part of me being a successful coach, is it'll have to have some automations. The next one will be number 2 for me on this list, as we're reverse engineering it, would be to create the high ticket offer. Right? If I'm going to be this successful coach, that means I have to have small ticket offers. And then I also have to have a high ticket offer as well, or just have the high ticket offer. Number 3 for me would be to build a team, right? I would need people that can help me be successful, become successful, because that's huge, sis. If you do not know, it's hard to be successful when you don't have people on your team. And so I would need somebody to actually help me with that automation and all of that good stuff. And number 4 for me would be to activate. It would be to sell something, to literally challenge yourself to get out there. And I use this in the God and Goals Challenge. It's called our challenge steps. And we do them every single day, because that's literally what activates you. It's what gets you on fire for your goal. It's when you actually make some money, sis. When you're actually seeing the success or the fruits of your labor, right? That's what actually gives you the success in knowing I can actually be successful. And so then number 5 would be my mindset and actually believing I can. I will put that all into that one. And then the last one would be the coach. The coach. I'm big on a coach needs a coach, needs a coach, needs a coach. A pastor need a above pastor. Like everybody needs somebody, right? And so that would be my formula of how I would do it. And so to do all of this, sis, I would not start with that number 1. Okay, so let's go back to what was number 1. Number 1 was to create the automations. I'm not starting there. I'm actually starting at number 6, where I said, I need to get a coach ASAP. And for me personally, because this is what I do in God and Goals, is I help people find their specific strategy, their specific formula, because we're all different. And so for me, honestly, I should have put my number 6 will be first to deal with my mindset. Because I don't know if you guys are like me, but if my mindset is not right, and if I don't actually believe that I can, no coach is going to actually be able to move me or help me or do any of that. And so my number 6, my start would be to actually believe that I can, would actually get my mindset together so that I can be able to be coachable, right? So that I can be able to hear what they're saying. And all throughout the steps, we are serving through every step. You're serving, you're doing the research, you're listening, you're leaning on people who you see doing it, you're following these people. And this could be for yours as well. All right. And so any questions about that really quick? I know I'm going really quick. Y'all with me? Everybody good? Okay. Hi, Maisha. So happy to have you here with us, sis. All right. The pivot is real, period, Antonia. All right, and so we'll skip this one really quick. So the next thing in goal setting would be to bridge the gap, right? And so I told you guys my formula of how I want to do all of these different things and become the coach, right? And it's going to take me to fix the mindset. It's going to take me to set up the automations, all of this stuff. And so this is the major, hear me, sis. This is major in goal setting, like in accomplishing your goals. Forget goal setting, right? Because we already set the goal. Now, this is major in accomplishing the goal. This is where 90% of people fail at, where they lose that momentum, where they start questioning themselves. It comes in at this point because you have to bridge the gap from where you're at right now to the end. There's a gap in between. And so you want to bridge that gap. And so here is some of the reasons why, something may not work for me. This is me bridging the gap really quick. And then I would love to do it with somebody else. So let's start off with that first one. And this one is really dear to my heart because sis still trying to get over it. Well, I'm healed from it. We'll leave that at that. And so the coach one, right? So as I was goal setting and thinking about how I wanted to become the successful coach and how I needed to get how I needed to get me a coach to teach me, right? I ended up going through a couple bad ones. Okay. And so this is my bridge in the gap mistakes that I'm showing you that you have to factor in for your goals or else it'll catch you by surprise. And so one of the first coaches that I had, I won't say she's a bad coach. Did I write this down? Here we go. I won't say that she was a bad coach. I need to really take that out. Sis gonna take that out because that's too bad. That's going too far. But she wasn't my coach. I'll say that. She wasn't my coach. And so and this is why. Okay, we were in the middle of a whole coaching thing and sis just left the program, right? And so for me, that was kind of like, dang, And so factor in the disappointments of what's going to happen when you're setting these goals. What is that going to feel like? What is it going to feel like to have a coach that just quit on you? What is it going to feel like to have a coach that, she may not have been the best one, but you picked her or something like that? Okay. And so you want to factor in those things that may come in the middle of it. For me, the next one was the mindset. Okay. And so what if you're dealing with your mind? And this is where I see a lot of people get stopped, especially my coaches, if any are in the room. We stop at the part that we start thinking, well, I don't got it all together. You start thinking, oh, you have found out that you have some hidden trauma. And you start thinking, well, how can I actually teach other people when I'm actually messed up or when I actually have some mess in my tank? That can't stop you, sis. But it's something that you need to factor in. You need to be able to factor in that you might begin to find out, sis, you a little lazy. Sis, you be getting stopped about the craziest stuff. For me, I had to get real with the situation that my family can stop me. The enemy really big on using my husband and my first son, child. My first son, he know how to push some buttons. Anyways, he uses those things to stop me. Or here we go, take the accountability. I allow those things to stop me. And so I had to deal with my mindset. And this is one of the things that I began to do as I was setting my goal. And this is how you kind of work that in. Is I began to hear God ask me, well, what if I take you to the Grammys, right? What if I take you and you about to get this Oscar award, right? Hopefully Will and them ain't fighting. But you about to get this award, right? And you get this call. All hell is breaking loose at your home. What are you going to do, right? So you have to factor in what is that feeling going to feel like, right? You're going to feel some anxiety. You're going to feel some worry. You're going to feel some stress. You're going to feel like, oh, can I still do this? But once again, that can't stop you, sis. That's where you go into at the bottom. I have you feel, you prepare for it, and then you let it go. Because while you're in the middle of handling your business, you're knocking out your goals, you're doing the successful thing, you're climbing the ladder, you're becoming successful, things are going to happen, but they can't stop you. And here's why. Not simply because we just say the heck with our families, they got that, they're going to tear each other up, I come back home. No, but because you know what you're doing, the goal setting that you're making. Remember at the beginning, we said that it's life or death. And so you know that it is going to be life for not only you, but for your family, for generations to come, for all of the people that's coming after you who's going to be struggling in this area. And so you have to get it done is what I'm saying. And so you feel it, you prepare for these things. And the other two I didn't fill in, but I will take another one is for the whole coaching thing. Well, another part that I see stops a lot of people is the activate, the sell, right? A lot of people have a hard time selling things, have a hard time actually putting their offers out there, actually asking for the money that they're worth or whatever it may have you for your goal. And so you got to feel that. You got to feel what it feels like to actually be afraid to make the offer. And then you actually have to feel what it feels like to get shut down in your offer. They say, I don't know, what do they say, guys? It's like 7 no's before a yes, something like that. You're going to get a bunch of no's. You're going to get a bunch of people who may not want to buy your book, right? Who may not want to buy your whatever, your services that you come up with in your goal setting. Factor that in, sis. And the way that you handle it is that you feel it, right? We talked about visualization and meditation is huge when you're setting goals. And you don't actually just feel the end result when you're this millionaire or when you've made it. No, you feel every single moment where you're like, oh, what if there's a crisis in my family? Whew. What if I start questioning my worth again? I start having trauma come up again. I start missing the sale. Nobody's buying, right? And so during the goal setting process, you take a minute to really feel that stuff. And that's what I talked about at the beginning of why some of these businesses are failing is because they're not factoring in. What does it feel like when you don't feel like doing a thing? Me and my sis Tony, we talk about it all the time about how going live sometimes it'd be like, oh my gosh, right? Because we got to do all of the things. But then it's like, okay, we know that that's our serving. When we pour out, when we show up in our communities, it's a sacrifice, but it's something that we agreed to do, right? It's something that we're agreeing to serve the people on. And so we feel that, right? Take a minute and say, oh, there's going to be days that I'm not going to want to. What am I going to do on those days? On those days, you're going to push through. But maybe you need to set up some mindset things. Whether you visualize yourself sitting in a closet, you're writing these affirmations to help you get started. Maybe you got to pray. Maybe you got to really write out exactly why you're not feeling the best that day. But whatever it is, you visualize yourself doing it, so that you can actually do what it is that you said you were going to do, because you still got these goals and these dreams that you got to accomplish. And so once again, this is major. This is major. And I taught this to my youth. I come into the youth classes that I teach and I say, listen, all of you guys are going to fail. And, at first teachers was looking at me sideways, but then they begin to adapt to this. Why? Because people need to know there is no overnight success. I mean, there might be somebody, but even people who go like viral, they were doing that stuff for a while. When I began to search my favorite, I don't know if you guys know her, Tabitha Brown. She is just, I'm pretty sure you know her right now. She's the best. But at the beginning, sis was like doing these videos and doing these videos and doing these different things. And it wasn't until like a certain time of her life, stuff just took off. And so the overnight success that you're going to see people saying that they're having, no, not for real life people, not for people with a calling. You want to know why? It's because God have to take you through this whole process, because you got to be able to repeat it. That's why I'm here today, is because I can actually repeat my process. Okay. And so none of this can stop you. This is where the real work comes in. And so feel it. Prepare for it, sis. Prepare. And then let it go. Create a formula for you letting it go. And I teach that in my guiding goals class about how you let it go, move on, sis. You can't let it stop you. So you feel that coach. For me, I feel that coach hurt. I'm like, woo, woo. You prepare for the losses. And then how will you move on? What is your sis get up remedy? What's going to get you back up and in the game, sis? And that's where the manifestation lies. Okay. And so let me stop this really quick. Y'all still here with me? I love this share screen because it keeps me on point because I'll keep talking. So I like to share the screen, but I can't see you guys. So really quick, is anybody on here? Hey, Chantel, thank you for coming on, sis. Is anybody on here, you know, kind of what your goal is, and you want to kind of, you know, put it out here on this reverse engineer thing? I would love to see somebody's done.
What do you mean by see it done?
So let's put your goal out there, and then we'll kind of reverse engineer. Hey, Megan, I didn't even see you come in, love. So happy to see you. Megan, if you don't mind though, I would love to do somebody who's not a coach, because that's your goal, right? Like you're like me, we're striving to become these successful coaches. I want to see somebody else who has like something different. Sarah, are you there? I love calling on Sarah. I didn't see her coming either. Chantel, Maisha, Foxy J. Come on, ladies.
Forgive me my tardiness. I just got out of an appointment. So
No, I get it. I get it.
So I have a couple of goals.
Okay.
My ultimate one right now is to start a nonprofit. Also, I have a Mary Kay business, and I have goals in there too. So I'm trying to grow that right now, and that's where I'm leaving from. But as far as the nonprofit, like, I just don't know where to start. I know what I want to do, but I don't know. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. That's the beauty of it. You got a journey, but it's a good one. So let me ask you, what kind of nonprofit, if you don't mind?
It is to build families and families as a whole.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I wrote down, like, I know what I want to do, but it's like a shelter and basically family rehab. It's rehab time, like my boy used to say.
I know, I love that.
I see the family so much, and I know, like, we need family, and we need to get back to the roots of family and what that means, and that's me. So I don't want, like, I've been through divorce, the parents been through divorce, and I'm like, why is this going on? Like, we really need to be praying, we need to be seeking the Lord and trying to move higher, and, you know, I want to help families stay together. So
absolutely. And so let me ask you really quick, sis. So it's gonna be like a shelter. So so people would stay there, right? They would come on, you know, if they needed that rehab, they would be okay. So I love that. All right. So that's your major goal, right? That's your major part of your goal. When you are reverse engineered though, you want to break that down, right? Because that can actually seem like, oh my gosh, how do I get there? It is so far away, right? So you want to break this down into bite-sized pieces, sis. And so what have you been doing to inch towards it? Let me ask you that.
Honestly, I really just been working on myself. Just self-improvement, working on loving myself, and on just self-control and just the things, because for me, the size that God is calling me to, it's like, I gotta have me together. I can't move forward. And I've been working on, like, my character and, you know, just having integrity and being able to God first. So it's been this journey of let me just get me together. And also, you know, reading on what it's like, going back to school, for instance. You know, it's been stuff like that.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
I'm not there.
No.
But
Yeah. No, this is good, sis. So this gives you, it's a major goal. It's a big goal, but it's a God goal. And so he's going to back you in that. And so I love how you said that you're starting with your mind first, because that is, you have to actually decide every day, I'm doing this. I'm inching towards this. And so that is the first step, is definitely yourself and your improvement. But I want to stretch you into not getting stuck there, right? Because as you're on this journey, you're going to be stretching, you're going to be learning, you're going to be improving. And so you get to stay there, right? You get to, if you're going to get some schooling in, that's for sure. What would you say the next step that you need to take would be?
What I've considered is shadowing
Mm-hmm.
for the directors for the shelters that we have around here, and just seeing how their programs kind of run, so I can kind of get a feel for what I'm going to be dealing with, you know, what that means kind of behind the scenes. So that kind of is my next step. But I'm glad you said don't get stuck there, because it's easy. You be like,
it is, and the lie of the devil. No, ma'am, because you definitely, you learn by going. And I love that you said the shadowing part, right? And so that's basically you know, getting that coaching too through that. And so there are coaches for nonprofits that help in those areas. Are you still there, sis? I want to make sure you're kind of closing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So definitely, I would say your next step would be to get that, right? And so, guys, what we're doing for her is actually just taking her huge goal and reverse engineer it, right? Starting at, what can I do today? Right? Because like Chantel said, and I seen it on her, that she believes this. It's a God-given dream that God gave her. Ain't nobody trying to do that. But she has that in her heart to do. And so God placed that there. And God's going to give her the resources and the blessing and the strength to continue to go forth. But what happens is that, you know, sometimes we look at that over the bridge. And so you have to begin to bridge it. And so I love that, sis. You are on the right step. And so what would be next? So we got the coaching, the shadowing.
I think, I guess just establishing it, like, as far as kind of putting it on the map, and like, I mean, I know what I'm going to call it. I know God gave it a name, and this is what we're doing.
Woo! I felt fire on that, sis. Woo! Literally, Holy Spirit came in when you said, I know the name.
So for me, I think the next step from there is just getting it established, get it like all the way on paper officially, not just what I wrote down, but like,
yeah. And that's major, sis. I think that is powerful. You're on the right steps. And that's what comes in with the coaching. That's what they're going to tell you. They're going to show you with the nonprofit exactly what, you know, license you should get for that. Because that's what's going to make it real, you know, because then the next thing will be is to get the resources, right? Is to put this out there to the people, get people backing you. That's what nonprofits is all about. You get some people backing you, you really don't have to do much from there. They'll pour into that. People love giving into a nonprofit for sure.
Yeah.
And so licensing, right? You can figure out, what does it take to get that? What does it take? What else do you think?
Besides the resources, the physical location.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, I know where, I even know where I wanted it to be, because I'm showing me this building, and I'm like, somebody is working on it, but then they ain't did nothing with it. And I believe with everything that, as much as they're trying to do something with it, they can't do nothing with it because I ain't in it.
Woo!
So
I love it. And so I would even ask, just because I'm just all about the Lord, love the Lord. So I would even say, start marching out there, go put your feet on that land, where God says you tread your feet, he will give that land to you. And I would say that's part of a goal too, right? You driving by there, scooping it out. Oh, I can see this happening here. I can see the kids that'll come in with the parents that's in the shelter here. I can see that's part of it, right? And so I love this, sis. Thank you so much for allowing me to help you break this down, because that is what you do. When we have these major endpoints, you have to break it down. And I would even say, Miss Chantel, to begin to feel what all of this is going to feel like, because just to keep it all the way honest with you, sis, you're going to get some no's. You're going to get some people who won't believe. You're going to get some people who's going to say, I don't think you can do that. And so some of your self-work, I'm pretty sure you seem like you got it all together. I feel like your self-work would be also, to build yourself up for them no's. Like, that's okay. I don't care about those no's, right? So you visualize, take some time every morning to visualize what it feels like to get those no's, and then what it's going to feel like when you get those yeses. What it feels like when you don't have nobody supporting, and when it feels like when you get somebody who slides you that $100,000 check, like, here you go, I believe.
I receive that. Thank you.
In Jesus' name. And so you do that. You do that, sis. And I would say, write this down. This is all recorded, because that's how you break it down. And so another thing would be to, get to mingling. Are you in Michigan or are you somewhere else?
Yeah. I'm in Lansing.
Are you? Hey, friend. We'll have to meet up. I actually helped build up the Southside Community Coalition. So that's where I come from, which is a nonprofit. And so we do the whole community center thing, but they are always willing to sit down and have conversations and go over, David Weiner, he is the bomb at what it took for him to get there, the struggles, all of that stuff. So that's a side note. But it would be like yes, ma'am. And so even just doing this, right? Showing up at some of these Black Lansing events and just, networking with the different people and stuff. Those are goals. That's a goal too, right? When we're doing our lives as coaches, those are goals. When you are speaking, Sarah, on your Facebook, that is building up your audience for when you begin to release it. I would even say, Miss Chantel, that you should start some kind of like either a Facebook group, or you yourself, start telling people that you're doing that. I haven't really got a chance to scroll on your page, but I don't know. I haven't seen it, sis, but tell.
I'll be honest, I haven't really put it out there because, I'm kind of in the dirt with it right now. If you
That's
know what
okay.
I'm saying,
That's okay. But this is how we make it real. You don't put it out here to, what is it, about 6 of us up in here? You don't put it out to a couple of us in here. So this is how you get real with your goals. You put that stuff out there that way, because that is what we do, like in the God and Goals challenges. We hold each other accountable. When you begin to tell people that you're doing this stuff, they're going to be the ones like, Tony, I don't said I wanted to, even Coach Ange, I don't said I wanted to quit being a coach like every day of my freaking life. I'm walking away. I don't want to do this. Like, they have drugged me back, spoke life to me, literally like, this is, you're not leaving, and it's like, you need people to believe in you, because sometimes you're not. And so, sis, I would say you're number one, right? Because you've already been doing mindset. Mindset is forever, ladies. If you did not know, we do mindset, personal development every day of our whole entire freaking lives, okay? Sorry, gotta tell you. So your next step, sis, is to get it out of your mouth, right? If you I don't know how you feel about the whole name thing. Sometimes, people, I say what's for you is for you. But, you one of the people who like, I don't want to put the name out there, just speak about it. I'm going to have my nonprofit. I believe in helping people that, don't have a home, or that are on substance abuse, or, all of the things that you said, like, put it out there, sis. Next thing you know, people will push your goal along, because that's another thing. And I know we can't get on, but it's so powerful. This is how God works. Literally, once you begin to put your goal out there, he'll send the people. But what I know is that God won't move until you do. That's why I'm really big on activation in the God and Goals Challenge, because if you do not activate, if you do not move, if you do not do something, sis, guess what? I don't think you're playing. Like, you literally have to let heaven know, I heard you, I receive it, and I'm going to go for it. Every day. Amen. Amen. So I love you, sis. Thank you so much for sharing that, and blessings to it. I know it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So really quick, ladies, we got about 10 minutes. Let me just wrap this up. Just let me share the last piece with you, because it's still something else. Okay. And so the next thing I want to tell you about, all right, is that, oh, she cute. So the next thing will be the elephant in the room, which is procrastination. Okay. And so procrastination, I can't even say it right because it's irritating word, but procrastination, matter of fact, I don't need to share this anymore. Sorry. Procrastination is something that a lot of people like to use for their reasons why they're not moving, right? We love to say, my procrastination. We even take ownership of this thing. My procrastination. I'm a procrastinator. It's just what I do, right? And I want to stretch you into believing that procrastination, for me, my whole definition, it's the subject of unknown, right? You procrastinate because you just don't know what's next, right? If Chantel never got her, and we rebuke it in Jesus' name, but if she didn't get her nonprofit going, it would be simply because she just didn't know where to go, right? And so she would be like, in her mind, she would hear this cycle. I'm a procrastinator. I don't ever do what I'm supposed to do. I keep letting myself down, right? And that's how the enemy gets us in these cycles. But when you know, there's no reason why you don't move. There's no reason why procrastination is a part of you. No, you might have your up and down days, right? You might have some times where you just don't feel like it, but procrastination is not it. You get back up, you keep going. And so it's the subject of unknown. And so when you don't know exactly what to do, you procrastinate. For instance, when I was in college and I was doing APA format, like, I don't know if you guys know, but like, that's the worst ever. Shoot it down. Who needs it? Like, let's just write. But it was huge in college. And so we would have to do these APA format papers, and I hated it. And so I would procrastinate because I always messed up the author, the initials and all that stuff. So I never wanted to do that part, or I never wanted to have, when you do the research and you got to add it in and do all of, okay, going off on something. But I hated it, right? And so I would procrastinate. And this is the bad thing about procrastination, is it'll literally have you thinking that, oh, I could just put it off and then I'll just get it done. But that's literally that's driving yourself through hell, quite frankly. And so I would literally put this paper off all night, for days. Let me keep it real. For weeks. I would wait until the day before, sometimes the day of, sis. Okay. Don't do me. Okay. I would wait until the day of, and I would try to hurry up and do this, and I would stress myself. I'll be stressed out with my kids. Don't come in. Stressed out with my husband. Don't talk to me. Like, I'm focused. Instead of, I could have broke that thing down. I could have actually got clear on what it was and really, dived into it. Thank you, Lord, for helping me get through. So that's behind me. But that's where I was using the excuse of procrastination. I would say, oh, I'm just a procrastinator. That's why I didn't get the paper done. I even tried to tell my professor that. He was like, I don't care. And so this is how you get over it, okay? Because procrastination has sneaky side effects, is what I call it. And so when you have this procrastination, you begin to, first off, you do the whole negative Nancy thing, right? You're just downing yourself. You can't get right now. Now you're just a loser, I know it's not just me, right? Because I go in on myself when I mess up. And then the second one is the laziness. The laziness sneaks in. So procrastination is something that you keep putting off. Laziness is something that you just simply girl, you done started watching TV. You done started talking on the phone. You done started doing everything but that thing. You done went to sleep. Like that, it becomes simply lazy, right? And so this is where, you get them pushes, and why community and sisterhood is so powerful, because you have to first, to get over this stuff, you have to learn good discipline. And not only just discipline, but you have to be a good steward of your time, sis. This is just on a whole side note, one in my notes, but I want somebody to know that we don't have forever, ever. We have things to do. We need to do it. God needs us to do it, and we have to get it done, right? So You got to learn to be a good steward of your time. And then the number one thing to overcome procrastination, laziness, the negative and all that stuff is it goes back kind of to the beginning. And it's to have faith, to have the faith. This helps you to actually overcome it. Have the faith, actually believe that you can. Like if I would have started having faith on that paper, like I probably would have got it done, like put it in my mind. You can do this, right? Have the faith. And then not only that, set that goal higher. Now, I won't use college for this one because it sucks, right? So for the goal higher, I mean by like, if you reach it, you get this. Now, I mean, it can still work, but you'd be like, I just got to complete this class and you trying to think about a good goal, but then here come another one. So we're not going to use that example, but we can use something such as, and I'll pick on Sarah because she's just right there with her face on there. And so Sarah has a book that is coming out and it's coming, right? It's coming. Holy Spirit is all up on that. But, and even with Chantel, even with Megan, with Coach Ange, with Antonia, with Maisha, Foxy J, all of you ladies, like what if God told you, like, if you successfully do what I told you to do, you get this goal, like what if the minute that you launch, like your life is gonna change. Like, I don't know what you're believing God for, but let's say that, for, coaches, what if God is like, launch the business? I'm gonna make you not even just a 6-figure coach. Let's go to 7 figures, 8 figures, okay? Because it's happening. Maybe God is like, hey, you write that book. I'm gonna have people signed up to sign you. I'm gonna have offers down the line. Miss Chantel, what if God is like, literally, just get it out your mouth. I'm going to have people endorse you all around the world, sis. You're going to even get people outside of Lansing, Michigan, right? And so you set the end goal higher. Like once I launch this, and that's how I began to ground myself and becoming a coach. As I said, once I start getting real good at this here thing, I'm going to be one of the best coaches. And I'm not only going to just coach women and just powerfully speak and empower and do the thing, but I'm also going to teach my daughters to do that. I'm also about to set up generations to come. I'm also I have dreams, Chantel, of having a building where I'm like, it's going to be a whole thing. Women are going to come in and get coached on any level that you need. Maybe you need therapy today. Maybe you need counseling. Maybe you need somebody to do your makeup. Sis, I got you. Like, it's bigger. It's bigger. And then I think about the reward, right? Because you do reap a good harvest if you faint not. And so you do start thinking about the money. Oh, if I become this millionaire, I can actually sow into other people. If I become so successful, I can actually help these struggling families. I can not only just drive by people or hear these women in my group who saying that they're struggling with bills, but I can actually start paying bills and actually help create jobs, heck, whatever it may be. You set the goal higher, whatever it is that you want. You set the goal high and you think about that every single day. And you think about how you just one click away from actually getting what it is that you want. I tell myself every day, it's only a matter of time, baby, before somebody see me and be like, we gotta have you at our event. We gotta have you on TV. We gotta have you empowering our youth. Like, it's only a matter of time. That's what keeps me showing up every day. That's what keeps me with the goals that's in front of me that sometimes look like burdens, to be honest. But when you put them on paper, when you take that big goal and you reverse engineer it, and you begin to write down those small steps, and every single day you do one thing, Chantel, even if it's just reaching out to one person, Coach Ange, even if it's just speaking life into somebody, Miss Antonia, even if it's just showing up powerfully on a webinar, Megan, I can't wait till yours comes, sis. I hope I didn't miss it, right? I can't hear you. Sorry, I know that mute button is tricky.
Oh, it was today at 1 o'clock. We recorded it.
I want to see that recording because I love it. I was like, look at Megan. Like, it's a matter of time, sis. You're so inspirational and encouraging on your lives, girl. I'm like, where have you been? So I love it. I love it. So it's just a matter of time, Maisha and Foxy J. It's just a matter of time for us, ladies. And so that is how you look at your goals. You reverse engineer them. And you take them each day, one little thing, Set that next one, Megan. No matter how it went, no matter anything, set that next webinar, set that next workshop.
I know he's up to help change this world. All of us.
It's needed. Come on, sis. I love that. Anybody got anything to say? I'm practically done.
No, this has been amazing. Thank you. I like the reverse engineering and how you went through like those 6 steps. And then like I was following along and then you all of a sudden you're like, nope, start at the bottom and work your way up. So I like
love
that.
Thank you, Coach Anz. Yes, it changed my life because I was at that big goal, like, how do I get there? How do I get there? And it was driving me crazy. All right, and so set the goal high. Dream big every day. Because here's the thing, ladies. Here's the thing, and this is the last thing I'll leave you with, is that I don't know if you're like me, but when I wasn't setting goals, I was doing everything but that. I was overeating, so I got all big. I was oversleeping. I was overspending. And those are all just distractions. And when you, so sis, if you're finding maybe you're doing that, maybe you're finding yourself trying to find distractions to stop you from actually the big picture, I want you to know that's a whole distraction, sis. It's coming in to stop your purpose. And the more that you do that thing, that is how the whole bad talk comes in. Because you're going to start feeling like crap. When I was trying to get my book out, like I didn't know how to get it out. And so it would drive me crazy. So then I would do the bad things. And then I felt so bad. Like I felt extremely bad. And so it's not going to go away. You're going to keep feeling it. And you're going to keep stressing out about it. So this is my last thing I want to show you guys. And this is just my offer. So I will offer you guys. And Miss Antonia, if you could drop it into the, and this is master your craft, sis. Okay. Whatever you do, do it well. That way you can teach others. And so this is my offer. It's my gift to you, sis. I want to offer you to come into the 21-day Guiding Goals Challenge. So I have 2 of them just because I get it. I get that the times that we're in, I get that it can be hard for some of you guys all of us, it's hard on us with the gas prices and everything. And so I set 2. The first one is just to try. You just come into the Guiding Goals Challenge. You experience the challenge. You get the live videos that happen inside of the private group, along with the workshop to help activate your steps. And that one is $47. The next one, you get all of the above, along with the access to bonus courses and the 2 free tickets to my luncheon, which will be actually in person. It's going to be at the end of April. But even if you don't get the come in person, it will actually be on live as well. And I have speakers coming, food, all of that stuff. And so the challenge starts April 1st. And Miss Tony, I thank you. Did you drop it, sis?
I am dropping it.
Okay. And
It starts April 1st and it ain't no joke.
Period. April is my month, guys. April 1st and it ain't no joke. Oh my goodness. I just got it, Coach Anz. It's April Fool's. It just actually dawned on me. This is not a joke. So sis, you have it. If not, I can drop it. Let me see.
Can I say something real fast?
Yeah, you could drop it. I'm having I'm trying to share the link from my Facebook Messenger.
I think I got it. I think that's it, ladies. Yes, who wants to say something?
Well, first, thank you for having this. Because sometimes I know for me, I lose focus.